Yo, welcome to a brand new video. This is my first versus type of video, and yeah, we're not talking about Invincible, the character today. No. We're talking about something very special. I saw another video talking about this, and I thought, why don't I give it a go and just try and explain my thoughts on this? I honestly can't remember if I agreed with the video or not. Can't really remember the video. I'm watching way too much YouTube lately, and it all mishes and mashes together. So today, you're getting a fight of the ages between Frieza and the Frieza Force later in the video versus the entirety of the Viltrum Empire. Yeah, this was at first going to be just a Frieza versus Thrag type of thing, but that is a type of fight that Thrag does not want. He does not want this heat, okay? Frieza would absolutely stomp Thrag if it was a one-on-one fight, honestly. I'll get into it later, but yeah, basically base form Frieza destroyed the entirety of planet Vegeta. Yeah, that's an entire planet, and in the same exact blast, he also destroyed all of the Saiyan warriors. Now, to be fair, the Saiyans at that time were not as strong as Goku and Vegeta and Broly and all of the other Saiyans that show up later, because they were born with their power level and they had to stick with that their entire life because it was literally based off of power level, and King Vegeta didn't want anyone more powerful than him or his son there. So, I mean, obviously, you know, they were either killed or launched away like Broly. So, I mean, yeah. But yeah, even with that, that is a huge feat, especially just base form. He decimated a planet. Now, that's like one of his best feats, to be honest. He also destroyed Earth in Resurrection F, which was impressive, but that was his golden Frieza Gold form, so I'm not gonna count that as of right this second. I will in a second, but right now I want to go back over to the Viltrums and talk about their best feats, which you'll see if it compares or not. You can decide. Let's just start by giving a base format of what these dudes are. They are basically a ripoff of Superman. That's not saying anything bad about them. I don't think it is, at least. They are, and we all know they are. Which means that, as we all know, all ripoffs of Superman are either way weaker than him or purposely made to be as strong as possible and dwarf him in power. These guys are in the middle of that. They have super strength, flying, super senses. They kind of adapt to what they're fighting, kind of. They're just better at adapting while fighting and stuff to actually learn the opponent's moves. It's not an actual power, it's just they're warriors. They are actual warriors that are born to fight and kill. They kill to live and live to kill, basically, is how it works. But yeah, all of the Viltrumites have those base feats automatically. Now, only the strongest live whenever it comes to Viltrumites, which means, you know, these are the strongest ones. So, let me go ahead and talk about the best feat that every Viltrum has, which is whenever Nolan and two other Viltrumites flew through a planet's core, all the way through it from the one side to the other, destroying the planet. Now, this is an impressive feat, especially since most enemies in most entities in the Invincible series aren't really planetary type of attacks. Most of them can definitely enslave and conquer planets, but none of them have really shown the capacity of actually just straight up destroying a planet. But yeah, it took 3 of them, but that is still impressive. I'm fairly certain Nolan couldn't do it by himself. I don't think any Viltrumite could do it by themselves. That's why they had to use 3. So yeah, this is definitely a big feat, but this definitely isn't on par with Frieza's insane amount of power. Now, the Viltrumites do have a feat that well, not even a feat, but a power, I guess, that could come in handy, and that is speed. Now, whether the Viltrumites can go faster than the speed of light or not is debatable. Some sources say yes, some sources say no. I do not think the comic or series ever really said whether they can or not. Maybe they did. If they did, go ahead and tell me in the comments, because this is something that I think would absolutely help them, because I haven't brought this up yet, but their numbers are around 30 to 40. I'm fairly certain it's 37. That's not a lot, especially since I'm going to bring in the Frieza Force later in this video, but this is just a Frieza versus the Viltrumite army for right now. Their speed being close to speed of light, maybe even greater if they get enough speed, is what I'm seeing from most of the sources I'm looking at. Keep in mind, most of these sources come from some people who I think worked on the comic, it looks like, and also comes from people who have done the math from the panels and the animation from the series. So this could be debated. It honestly could have been completely just denounced from a true creator or something like that. But as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and say they can move at the speed of light and greater if given enough time to build up speed. But yeah, this would kind of make sense with their whole, they push against the, you know, Nolan's whole spiel in the show, but about how they fly and everything. Even though it doesn't really explain how they fly, it just kind of gives an example of what could make them fly. But that's besides the point. Them moving at like light speed or above would absolutely help them. I don't know if it would help them that much. We'll see in this video, but it would absolutely help. Now, as a comparison to the Viltrum's speed, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Final Form Frieza, which is the only real reference I could find whenever it comes to his speed. Now, Final Form Frieza, there are about 3 forms, 2 or 3 forms. I might be wrong, it's been a while since I've watched Dragon Ball Z. I need to watch it again, actually. I love this series. But it's been a while, so there's either 2 or 3 forms. Final Form Frieza, it just says can move faster than light, which means the other 2 forms probably move substantially less fast. I'm gonna go ahead and guess, because faster than light speed is honestly kind of rare in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I know it looks like they're moving extremely fast, and they are. They're definitely moving faster than any human can see, but they are not moving faster than light. I do not believe. I don't think it has ever been stated that they were moving faster than light. They were definitely moving close to faster than light, but I don't think they were that close. So Final Form Frieza is faster than light, meaning that Base Form Frieza, which is what I'm using for right this second, is probably slower than that by quite a lot. I could not find a reference for how fast Base Form Frieza is, so if you know, definitely tell me. Honestly, with how much I don't know, I could have just made a video about what I don't know, and then posted that, and then got y'all's information, and then made a real video. I might do that just to, you know, keep my facts straight. Might just make another video with y'all's information that y'all give. Unless I have all this right, which, I probably do. Don't want to brag or anything. I'm a genius. But yeah, the fact that Final Form Frieza moves faster than light probably means that Base Form Frieza moves substantially slower, like I said. So the Viltrumites' only real hope is speed blitzing him, honestly. There's 37 of them. I haven't talked about the strength. Let's go ahead and jump into how strong these boys are. Whenever we're talking about a Viltrumite's strength, the best base form for it that we can talk about is Omni-Man, because he is basically in the middle. He is one of the more powerful ones out of the ones that are left, but he is not as powerful as the top tiers, meaning Thrag and his little lackeys. Now, Omni-Man flew through a portal. This is from the series, and I'll be using the scenes from that to basically illustrate how powerful he is. He flew through a portal from an alien invasion, grabbed him, and destroyed the entire alien civilization in around, I'd say it was probably, in our time, it was around 3 minutes. He was moving at super speed. It might have taken him, but it might have been more. I have no idea. I'm gonna go ahead and say that it probably took him around 5 minutes, maybe shorter. I don't know if that's canon. I'm gonna go ahead and say it is, though, for this video at least. So that definitely helps us, the Viltrumite's speed feats, and it shows how powerful he is. These are city to planetary level, like I already said, planetary level with all three of them there. But city level is huge, especially since this is a feat that was done by one Viltrumite and not 3. He easily dismantled this entire civilization and then flew back to Earth, which it never said how far away Earth was from there, I don't think, but it was a different planet, which means he was definitely moving as fast as I said they probably could. So, yeah, I don't know. This is basically just to go ahead and tell myself that, yeah, I'm right about a lot of this. So yeah, their speed is definitely up to as high as I think it is, and their strength is definitely city level, even just one of them. Planet level, maybe, but it only showed him destroy a big city with the alien civilization. He probably dismantled that entire planet, though. But they quickly rebuilt, and not quickly, but in our time it was quickly, and then came back later. But yeah, this is definitely a huge feat, speed and strength-wise. Is it enough to kill Frieza, though? No, it's not enough to stop him. Well, almost 100% sure it wouldn't be able to stop his base form, but even if we go away from his base form and just go with his final form, yeah, the final form Frieza is an absolute, just, I don't know, it's a massacre, to be honest. The entire Viltrum Empire would be decimated. Their speed feats mean nothing to this form. They honestly, I don't think they're strong enough to hurt him, honestly. Maybe if they all dogpile him, but even then, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't think they could even hurt this form of Frieza, to be honest. Frieza has some of the craziest durability in this entire franchise. I think it's basically just because he gets bullied a lot, but he has to survive, so I mean, obviously he's gonna have a lot of durability feats by then, but most of the villains get bullied at some point in the series, so I mean, I don't know if it's just the writers bullying him and then him surviving because he has to, or it's just straight up durability. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's just straight up durability because, yeah, Frieza is one of the best villains in Dragon Ball Z for a reason. He's built different, like, genuinely. I mean, seriously. Even if we say that the Viltrums can take out Final Form, which I don't agree with at all, what are they going to do against a form of Frieza in Resurrection X that destroys an entire planet and survives right at the epicenter of the blast? I know the blast, like, starts at the core of the Earth and spreads, so obviously that was not exactly true, but, I mean, yeah, he survives an exploding planet right on top of him, or below him, I guess. But yeah, yeah, there's nothing they can do against this form right here. This is just insane. I mean, there's nothing they could do. Now, the only thing that might be able to save them is their healing factor, because I haven't stated this yet, but the Viltrums have an insane healing factor. They can survive in the sun for a lot longer than they should be able to. But yeah, even with the healing factor, I don't know. His durability, I know I haven't really said any specific, like, things that he survived, but he survived a spirit bomb, he survived being cut in half, he survived being cut into tiny pieces, and he was still alive before he got blasted and evaporated, so I mean, I don't know, to be honest. Yeah, if they could hurt him, would it kill him? No, probably not. Being cut in half didn't kill him. I don't know why getting the crap beat out of him by a whole bunch of Viltrumites would kill him, unless they can absolutely decimate him and evaporate him. I don't think it's even canon that you have to evaporate him to kill him, but I'm gonna go ahead and guess it because that's how it was. They cut him into tiny pieces. He was still screaming, and then Trunks evaporated him. I mean, I don't. Yeah, there's honestly nothing they can really do about him. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the Frieza Force and see if maybe the Viltrum Empire, the Viltrum Empire would do better against just the Frieza Force. Maybe I don't really know. Because Frieza alone is absolutely decimating him. So maybe Frieza's stupid and is like, hey, just send the small team of the Frieza Force over, and we'll see if they can deal with it before I have to deal with it. Doesn't really sound like Frieza. He likes getting his hands dirty, but, maybe he was feeling lazy that day. Okay, the Frieza Force has had numbers spanning from 16, 100, all the way up to 1,000 members all at once. This is in Resurrection F, obviously. That's what I'm using for most of these stats, except for the base form and final form. But, yeah. Frieza Force, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. 1,000 members. Let's look at their stats and see if they could do anything to the Viltrumites. Okay, I'm not even going to try to go ahead and talk about all of their feats, because none of them really have any feats. They're just fodder, to be honest. That's literally what they are in this movie. But, yeah, it says that every single one of these people's power level is around 1,000 to 1,300. If you do not know what that means, it's basically just Dragon Ball Z's way of showing how powerful someone is. Base form Frieza is 530,000 on the power level. I was trying to figure out what the scale system would be with a power level, but I guess P's? 530,000 P's, I guess. I honestly don't know. But, yeah, he's 530,000. This is around 1,000 people. So they would be 530,000, 1 million altogether. But they are not all together, and they barely work together, to be honest. They all hate each other. This is Frieza Force. They try to backstab each other all the time. They're the worst. They try to backstab everyone except Frieza himself. And that's just because they're scared of him. And, I mean, I would be too. Frieza is a complete and utter beast, like I already said. He is a true monster. 1,000 of these dudes. 1,000 all working together versus 37 Viltrumites. And one of them is Thrag. Okay, the Ki Blast would absolutely be their only real way of stopping them, but I also... power level of 1,000, they're going to be way, way slower than the Viltrumites, unless some of them have some crazy speed hacks. Okay. I think the Viltrumites might actually take the Frieza Force just by themselves. They'd definitely take them if there was maybe half of them, because that would be, even less to deal with. But I think... Man, I think the Viltrumite army could take the Frieza Force alone. I think what would probably happen is, if this happened with Frieza sending them first and then coming himself, it would be... I'd say about 15 of the Viltrumites would probably die. They would take out, probably 90% of the Frieza Force, and then Frieza would come up on in there and just obliterate the rest of the Viltrumites. But that's not as fun as talking about just him versus all the Viltrumites. So yeah, if it was him versus all the Viltrumites, base form, they might be able to speed blitz him. Don't know if they would really be able to hurt him. I think if 3 of them hit him all at once, it would... I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of, to be honest. I know I'm laughing, but, I'm really trying to help the Viltrumites here. I thought this would be closer than it is. I honestly don't know. I don't know enough about the Viltrumites to really highball them or anything. Maybe I'm already highballing them, saying that they might be able to take on Frieza. I don't really know. If three of them hit him just right on in his base form, with how much faster they are than his base form, I would probably say that they could do some damage. Maybe rip right through him. That would work, but also not really, because he survived being cut in half, like I said. Ooh, maybe if I don't know. Maybe if they flew him into the sun. I don't even know if the sun could stop him, because how hot is an exploding sun? And or how hot is the sun compared to an exploding planet? I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say that, like, I'm gonna say 85% of the time, base form Frieza wipes the floor with all of the Viltrumites, and 100% of the time, anything from final form up, absolutely, it's just a massacre. They are all eradicated. That's really my final thoughts. I didn't even talk about Frieza Black, because I don't really think any of us I don't think any of us question who would win in that circumstance. It's Frieza Black, definitely. But even then, I don't know. It's a weird thing, because I'm not really a power scaler, like I said, or anything. I just like both of these franchises. So, I mean, I don't know. Tell me what you think. I obviously have no idea what I think. Well, yeah, I do. Frieza would win, obviously. Especially Final Form and up. But other than that, did I get anything wrong? Please tell me if I did. This was actually a really fun video to make. I might make some versus videos again later. Maybe I'll choose some franchises that I know a lot more about, instead of stuff that I like but don't really get super invested in power scaling and stuff with. There are some stuff that I get invested in power scaling just because I like talking about how powerful some of the characters are. But yeah, definitely like, subscribe. Tell me if there's another versus battle that I should do, and tell me if I got this one right at all. I honestly don't know. Yeah, Frieza's the best, and see ya. One last thing before this video ends. This is me after I make the video and everything. I thought about it for a second, and Frieza Force, honestly, even with a power level of 1000, that's not too low. That's honestly moon level in Dragon Ball Z. So I am going to go ahead and say that there's absolutely nothing that the Viltrumites could do against even Frieza Force just in general. Even if it was just 5 of the Frieza Force members versus all of the Viltrumites, I'm fairly certain the Frieza Force would absolutely decimate them in a couple hits, honestly. But yeah, so yeah, I guess this video really didn't need to be this long, and I guess the answer is, yeah, Frieza absolutely just massacres these poor aliens. Yeah, yet again, Frieza's the best. See ya.